Right, today sees the launch of the new Callaway Elyte lineup, and that's exactly what we're going to have a look at in today's video, the whole lot. So from irons into hybrids, into fairway woods, and into the drivers. I'll be having a brief look in terms of data, not a deep dive, but I'll give you my first-hand feedback. What did I think of the performance of each one of these? What do I think they look like? We'll be discussing costs and how this might impact on you, and whether or not one of these clubs in front of me could be a good purchase in 2025. Right, so we're going to kick things off with the irons, and there are 3 new irons from Callaway in this lineup. There is the Standard, there is the X model, and there is the HL. They all differ in profile and they all get gradually bigger and gradually more forgiving, I suppose, but effectively all I would class as game improvement irons. The HL model particularly focuses on launching the ball higher, and they are the slightly weaker lofted, so concentrating on the ball going up in the air, certainly concentrating on distance as well. But the other 2 models, Standard and X, is very much a combination of the 2. So first of all, I think you cannot ignore just how good these irons look, and I think looks is going to be a big sort of area that we discuss within this whole lineup. And within the irons, it sits at the top of the tree, in my opinion, in creating a game improvement iron that looks super clean, super slick, and something that you would normally associate with that sort of better players model. So I'm really pleased what Callaway have done with the looks department. They've also got a slightly new shape and new profile on the sole, which is designed for better turf interaction. I won't be testing that today, but I did put it through its paces on the on Trackman, and this is the X model and my first thoughts. The interesting thing is, I don't think of it anything other than straight. Oh, well, that's the club or me, but anyway, it's a steady 150 carry, decent ball speed. That's a pull left, I think. Trying to force that one, yeah. I've got the extra distance out of it, but forced it. The sound and feel is a huge difference, which I think they claim, and I would definitely agree with that. That's a real thin one off the bottom. So, well, it's still good because still a ball speed of 102. I can tell you that that came off the bottom grooves. Look at that. So that's the strike location, low and into the heel, and still getting 142 carry and a decent spin number, which you wouldn't expect either. So that's the irons, and yeah, a big tick in the box for that one. Anyone looking for irons in 2025, then they've got to certainly put those within the list. Next up is the hybrids, and something that's always been really good in my opinion from Callaway. 2 models in this Elite lineup. There's the X and the Standard model. Standard, again, just being a smaller profile than that of the X. It's the X that you're going to see me test very, very soon on Trackman. 2 pieces of weighting that are situated both heel and toe, and they're interchangeable weights. I think we've got 18 grams and 3 grams. It'll be up on screen now exactly what those amounts are, but effectively those 2 can change things quite significantly. I've got the heavier weight on the toe side of things, and this is what I thought of the performance of the X model. So I'm in the X model, which is draw bias. Yeah, I was going to say, felt a decent strike. 207 carry, bang down the middle. That's a decent start. So this is a 3 with, I think that says 19 degrees aloft. No, 18 degrees aloft. That went off like an absolute rocket, and it really did. Yeah, it's worth mentioning that the hosel on this is a brand new fitting, which allows for loft and lie angle to be changed and adjusted, which is hugely significant in a custom fit. We tried a bit too hard with that, gone left, yeah. The carry is ridiculous. Yeah, it's a 3 hybrid I'm hitting here. It goes as far as I can hit a 5 wood. That's a real bad shot. Yeah, that's what's interesting to see though. Again, that was horrendous. I'll show the strike location. I'm sure it'll confirm that that was a terrible strike, but it's on a 186 carry. I mean, look at that. That's almost missed the ball. And you get 186 carry out of, well, like I said, almost hitting a hosel. Yeah, I mean, super impressed with what this club did, and I just cannot believe how far that I hit this thing, and everything about it, ball flight, spin number, just really performed well. Just to confirm, that's a 13 gram weight, not 18 gram, which I said earlier. Really like it. Again, like it from shelf appeal perspective. The shaping of the X model is a little bit odd. It's a little bit almost pointy, triangular in many ways, and it certainly felt like a long face and more something that you would associate with the fairway wood. So slightly different, didn't have any effect on me visually, or certainly not on performance. And again, I'm really liking what we've done so far. So next up, it's on to the fairway woods. Now, in the fairway woods, there are 3 models. It's where you see the standard, the X, and then the triple diamond. Interestingly enough, the 3 woods in those models are fully adjustable. So we've got an adjustable hosel we can do things with, we can make differences. What I am surprised at is from the 5 wood upwards, there is no adjustability. So that for me is a slight negative, but it's probably where the negatives end. From a shelf appeal perspective, I'm going to say they look okay. It's not really the best looking product on the market right now from underneath, but when you turn the club over, you'll see that I am pretty impressed. Now, with all the clubs we're looking at, as ever, AI plays a major part in what Callaway have done, and the face has been AI to death, if you like, and they've really optimized the face performance, so you're seeing sort of sweet spots all over that face, and it certainly was visual when in performance wise when I hit these things. And this is what happened. It's my first thoughts on 2 5 woods that I hit, both the X and the standard model. Really nice. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about that is when you compare it to the hybrid, sort of carried less but with a very different ball flight. So this is very much, I haven't got launch on there, which I'll put on in a minute, but very high launching ball from the X, which again is what you'd be wanting to see. Pretty poor strike, got under it a bit. Yeah, dropped off a little there. Still 187 carry. Like that one, 128 ball speed. Yeah, launch is, let's get launch on because it definitely launches. Yeah, launch angle 17.8. 193 carry. It's a 5 wood spinning at 4,500 revs. So if you're hitting this into a green, which arguably you would be, then it's stopping quite comfortably. Probably, certainly the best looking crown in terms of fairway woods that we've seen for some time. Looks amazing at address. And that one is an absolute ripper. I hope I haven't pulled it too far left. No, I didn't think so. Wow. 221 carry with a 5 wood is ginormous. It's huge. What did it launch at? Launching at 15.4, peak height at 101. That's incredible. That's a fast ball speed. So the 5 standard model is next up. Visually just a more compact profile. So, in other words, head is a lot smaller, but still this incredibly good finish on the crown. I absolutely love the look of this. It's got a lot to live up to on that X model though. .136 ball speed seems quick. Yeah, wow, first ball off the bat there. You'd expect it to be launching lower, but it's actually launched at 16.5 and 222 carry, peak height of 111 feet. That's just such a good number. I mean, I am not testing the 3 wood because, you know, my thoughts on them in the bag, but to me, I don't need a 3 wood with a if I can do that with a 5. Not as quick that one, but yeah, 200 carry, a relatively easy swing, still very much a high launching ball as well, so I don't really understand what the main difference is between that and the X really. So again, so far so good. Callaway are really doing well in my opinion. What I really found effective was ball speed off the face, and there's this kind of tungsten speed wave, as Callaway call it. It's 35 grams of tungsten placed in the front of the club, which would normally lower spin and increase ball speeds but have a negative impact on launch. So the fact they've been able to get a real good combination of weight, enough weight at the back of the club to be able to launch the ball high, but then shove weight up front and as much as 35 grams to get the ball speed and keep spin down, that's an incredibly good combination. The other thing they've done with the fairway woods is they've changed the way the club sits on the ground basically. And it's very visible from where I am now, not something you'll notice from above. And it's to, again, improve turf interaction and slide through that ground more effectively, more efficiently. And Callaway are paying a lot of attention and a big deal on this. I haven't been able to test this today indoor. We hit off a very sort of small and stubby tee. And when I do the full review out on the golf course, we'll certainly put that theory to the test. But again, overall, super impressed with the 5 woods that I hit. And I would imagine from 3 through to, I think they go up to 11 wood, they'll do well with these products. But next, perhaps the most controversial would be the driver, because we've got a lot to say about this. And let's maybe start with the way they look, because there's an issue I feel with the looks, and I'd be interested to know in your thoughts on anything that I've commented on so far on this video, but in particular the driver from underneath and that shelf appeal element. I'm really it's just not grabbing me whatsoever. I don't want to be hugely negative, because at the end of the day it won't affect performance, but I do think there's it's a dated look, dare I say it almost looks like something out of a package set. It's not what I would normally expect from Callaway. Now that said, let's go on to the rest of the club and let's flip it over, because from the crown, absolutely love it. They've done a really effective job of creating a matte crown, which I really like. There's some really nice patterning in there, which you'll see. Hopefully we can pick that up on the camera indoors, and couldn't be any better from the actual place that you see the club, which is from above. So I've got no problems with that. But anyway, underneath, I feel like they could have done a better job. Underneath, what you'll also see is some weighting systems. The weighting system is not on a sliding weight, it's in sort of changeable ports. You've got the X model and you've got the standard model, and there is a triple diamond. I will only be focusing on standard and X. Now, in the standard model, you've got 3 weight ports, and you can slip that weight, and I think it's 14 grams, again, I hope I've got my facts right, into each of one of those sort of draw, fade positions or neutral. We'll be testing in neutral. Interestingly enough, it is just the draw bias that we can move this weight into on the X model. So obviously one is really that sort of the person that's fighting the fade. How did they get on, and what was my thoughts in terms of performance? Well, we've had a bit of a semi-deep dive into some of the shots I hit, and here is what I thought. Yeah. So this is the X model, where we can only change the weight in 2 positions, either to a draw favoured or a neutral. We're in the neutral position right now. Yeah, I like that. That's my shot. Trying to hit a bit of a cut with it. Launching high. Spinning probably a bit too high for me personally, but arguably could be a good number. 140 ball speed off 95. Club head speed is a good smash factor relationship. Launching super high and spinning super high as well. which again arguably is what they're trying to do with this model. 138, 18 degrees launch, 230 carry. Not seeing anything in this that's sort of super impressive in my hands, at least, these numbers. Yeah, 231 carry. Decent set of numbers, but nothing jumping out at me with that driver. Right, I just want to quickly stop off for the data, and we'll do an in-depth analysis, like I said, of each of these clubs later on, but very briefly, 9 driver shots with the standard model. And to be honest with you, just highlighting the fact that I struggled a bit with it. 95 club head speed is certainly, it's almost above average. Anything between 95 and 98 is the top end of my swing speed. And a 135 ball speed relationship is not that effective. So a smash factor average of 1.43 tells you that it's not performing to its optimum. A 220 carry, shortest ball being 214, longest being 230, so there's some variables in there. Spin number maintained reasonable, couple of outliers in there, but 2.4 spin is good, and launching again high, to be honest with you. And comparing that to the X model, slightly slower club head speed but produced faster ball speeds. Certainly launched high, peak height was very high, but an overall 225 carry, and it's just that smash factor I just wanted to highlight. A 1.46 smash factor, which, like I said, is that performance of ball speed against your actual club head speed. So for me, the X model performed a whole lot better. Still wasn't perfect, but was far better than the standard model, which was interesting. So as you can see, as always with this channel, we give it as honest an assessment as we can. And unfortunately, whilst the drivers did okay, we're starting to see that real slowdown, I think, in driver performance. Nothing really exceeded the kind of 230, 235 carry distance, which off my club head speed is pretty much as good as it's going to get. So yes, they did well. I can't say they did really any better than anything else I've tried in this last few years. But two things, I suppose, to finish on the drive. It's 13 grams of weight, not 14 grams of weight. Not going to make a huge difference. But what I will also say, it's surprising that is not a heavier weight in the back end there, because a lot of the sort of, I've seen the Ping driver, TaylorMade driver, you're talking about 30 grams of movable weight. So it's interesting they've shifted everything around a little bit there, and only 14 grams of movable weight. It's a carbon crown, by the way, that's another important factor. I think it's going to retail again on a list price of £500, which will then be discounted down. So I sort of stay away from that, because often it's very different than what it arrives at in retail. So that is my first look at every product, and I say every product, one from each of the lineups at least, that Callaway will be releasing. In separate videos, I will put each of these through a bit more of a thorough test, both in terms of Trackman and outdoor on the golf course, where we can test some more of the science that's gone into some of this, the design and ultimately performance of these clubs. Right, there's going to be a lot coming your way over the next few weeks, and that is the very first one. It's 2nd of January. Happy New Year to you all, and I hope you enjoyed that one. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on what you've seen on the new Callaway Elyte lineup for 2025, and I will probably see you soon.